Alright, so I didn't get that UU match, but I got an Ubers match against my good friend Kamel, and he comes on Skype, and I was thinking about going to the Smoke on Wi-Fi Battle Finder, but I was like, must resist the urge, because there's no way I would have found a battle this good on the Smoke on Wi-Fi Battle Finder, just impossible. Anyways, so yeah, he's a pretty cool dude and one of the better Ubers players that I know. I always like to meet a person that, you know, actually acts serious about Ubers, because it's my favorite tier. It's one of the most fun tiers in my opinion, of course, because you know, it's just fun and it's highly offensive. If you just look at our teams, well, at least he has a fortress, but mine is just like blast the opponent. And then that's about it. But nah, in general, it's like if you don't play that's pretty much what changed my play style. Back before I even got into Ubers, I used to play defensively, but you just can't play defensively in Ubers. I mean, think about it. Mewtwo, like, what good switching is there to Mewtwo? The only thing that I can think of that can take an attack is Arceus Dark and then go for the payback next turn. But even that doesn't like taking a Life Orb, super effective, or a Sphere. So, yeah, it's just really hard to play stall in Ubers. So that's really where I started playing offensively. So I predicted him to lead off with his Palkia, so I'm going to lead off with my Arceus because I didn't want to lead off with my Groudon. That would be a bad matchup. And in offensive teams like this, the lead is the key. If I lead off with a bad Pokemon, I'm pretty much going to be forced to Death Fodder or something on the first turn, and I don't really want to do that. So he's going to go for the Hydro Pump, and personally, I don't run, one, I don't run Hydro Pump on Palkia, I run Surf, and two, I don't even run Water moves on my Palkia because it's Sun, so there really is no reason to run a Water move in the Sun, and you can pretty much cover just about most types with Dragon, Fire, Electric. Well, actually not Electric. If you're in Rain, though, that's where Thunder is. That's why Palkia is a great Pokemon to have on Sun teams, because it's a great Kyogre counter. So I did predict him to either switch into his Groudon or his Fortress, because I knew he wouldn't want to lose his Palkia. So I just go into my Palkia and hit him with that Draco, but he takes that really well. So I'm expecting this thing to be specially defensive, but it doesn't really matter now. I don't really think I can KO it from this range, but instead of switching out, I was too worried that he would go for the second T-Wave, but I'm not playing Poke-Aim, so what am I thinking? Only he would do that. I was just way too worried about him T-Waving again. I would have definitely switched straight out into Mewtwo right there if I wasn't predicting that. So he's going to go for the Earthquake, and I'm going to go for the Draco. This time I don't miss, though, which is fortunate for me. And he's going to be able to live the Draco. That probably wouldn't have taken him out last turn anyways, but, you know. So, yeah, I'm being too paranoid and stuff, and this is bad. So he's going to switch out, and he's going to end up bringing in this Mewtwo as I try to go for the third Draco, but I get Parahacks, and it probably would have done like 10% anyways. So now I'm going to switch out, and I'm going to bring in my Arceus because pretty much Death Fodder. And he accidentally brought his Lolzy Mewtwo. So he's going to go for that Metronome. I can say right now that this Mewtwo screwed him up so badly. Like, because he told me that he had a Specs one and that he was supposed to bring. But this thing is just really funny because it's like going for Metronome and stuff like that. So he's going to go for the Alley Switch, but of course it fails. So he's going to switch out, and he's going to bring in this Fortress. I almost forgot what his name was. And I go for the Swords Dance, predicting the switch out. So that way I can just get a lot of damage off on this thing. I'm going to go for the Brick Break, and because it's not super effective and Fortress is a boss, even over 700 attack, that does about a third of damage. He goes for the Volt Switch, and it doesn't even take me out, which is pretty funny. And now he brings in his Mewtwo. I'm not really sure why. If he would have just brought in his Deoxys right here, he could have just saved his Mewtwo, but I guess that's no matter, but, you know, whatever. The Mewtwo is kind of garbage anyways with that Metronome. So he's going to bring in this Deoxys, and I'm, like, hoping that Kamel runs a Life Orb attacking Deoxys so I can just come in and revenge kill it. And, well, what do you know? He just happens to run the Life Orb attacker set. My opinion, the Focus Sash attacker set is better because you can't get revenge killed by Pokemon such as Arceus, you know, extreme speed and stuff. So I just bring in my Scarf Dialga and I can go for the Dragon Pulse and take it out. Surprisingly, I outspeed. I only have enough speed EVs to outspeed Timid Mewtwo by 2. So, and I'm pretty sure that Deoxys A gets 399 speed. So I'm not really quite sure why or how I outsped actually. Perhaps he's running like, I don't even know. Maybe I'll ask him later. So he just Death Fodders his Groudon. That I'm also not sure about why. And he's going to bring in his Reshiram here. And I do run special defense EVs on my Dialga. As I said, I only have just enough speed EVs to outspeed Timid Mewtwo by 2. So I can usually take most special attacks. That puts me at about 250 special defense. But even with those, a blue flare is still going to take me out even if it is Scarfed. But now I can just bring out my Palkia. I could have gone into my Reshiram, but I don't know why. I don't know. I just didn't feel like going into it. So now he's going to be forced to switch out pretty much. I guess I didn't want to get any damage on my Reshiram. And he's going to go into his Fortress. And I predicted that, and I went for the Aura Sphere and not the Fire Blast because just in case he stayed in. But now I'm getting Parahaxed, so I went for the Fire Blast here. I get Parahaxed again. He gets a layer of Toxic Spikes up. Not really a big deal because this game is so offensive. There's going to be lots of switching and Death Foddering. But finally, this turn, I'm not going to get Parahaxed, and I'm going to hit the Fire Blast, and I'm going to be able to easily one-shot this Fortress. It's in the sun. It has terrible special defense, ×4 effective. That probably would have killed at least 3 Fortresses. So he's going to be able to send out his Palkia again. And that's not really a big deal because I can just Death Fodder my own. And he's going to go for the Draco. And I'm wondering what would have happened if he didn't go for Draco Meteor. If he would have gone for Spatial Render. Maybe he's like me and doesn't run Spatial Rend. Sorry. It's kind of early in the morning. So I'm going to send in my Mewtwo now because I know that I can outspeed. At least I think so. Wait, when did I find out that he was Specs? Okay, I guess here I found out he was Specs, but I knew that I could take a Draco Meteor anyways. I could have been a troll and gone for the sub, but that would have been stupid. Yeah, I actually... crit didn't matter, by the way. I actually run a sub Mewtwo 3 attack set because, as I said, it's almost impossible to check or counter Mewtwo. The only thing you can really do is revenge kill it. But if I'm behind a sub, you're not going to be revenge killing anything. And he's going to go for the Dragon Pulse because there's really nothing else he can do. If he goes for Blue Flare, I can send in my Reshiram. If he goes for Draco Meteor, I can send in my Groudon and just take attacks. So he was forced to go for the Dragon Pulse, and it doesn't take me out. I go for the Psy Strike, and it does about 3/4 of damage. Unfortunately, it doesn't take him out, but that's no big deal because now I'm going to be able to send in my Groudon, which I haven't even sent out the entire battle. I didn't send out my Groudon until now, and I never even sent out my Reshiram. So I'm not really sure. So he's going to go for the Dragon Pulse, and as long as he doesn't get a critical hit, I know I can live. In fact, even if he would have gotten a critical hit, I probably still would have been able to live, but I'm just not sure. So I'm going to go for the Earthquake, and that's going to be a 2-0 in my favor, so that's good game, Kamel. Finally got a good Ubers match. Do you know how hard it is to find good Ubers matches? Holy cow. Yeah, that's pretty fine. So I'm probably going to do some more Ubers if I can find some more good Ubers players. Again, it is kind of hard to find matches like these because not a lot of people play it, and even the ones that do, like, that's why Ubers is commonly criticized for being a noob tier because, you know, some of the newer players, they just like the Pokemon that are in the tier, so they choose it, and it doesn't go too well. Screen also went black, so I'm going to take that as my time to end it off here. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.